All right, guys, welcome back to the Lifestyle Loops podcast. You join us for episode four, where fittingly there's four of us here today. We have Mr. Shea McCaul on the show today, the first guest. What an honor, mate.
Big honor, lad. Great to be
Um,
here. Thanks for having me on.
yeah, no, 100%. First name on the team sheet.
Yes.
So how are you getting on? How's life?
Aye, all good,
Prep?
man. Since prep ended, it's been sweet to be fair, lad. I'm just enjoying a bit more of life, you know what I mean? It's like prep is like everybody says prep puts you in a bubble, like, but it just really locks in your routine for like a good portion of the year. And obviously if it's a long prep, which was the case, it would mine was long prep to be fair. It was like since March or something like that.
Mhm.
It was like 30 plus weeks. It wasn't meant to be that long, but then obviously just convinced to get shows towards the end of the season, and you're like, right, okay, we'll extend it a bit, like. But aye, since prep ended, it's been good to be fair. Like it's first few weeks are always a wee bit hard, but then you start to enjoy
Uh,
like a bit more flexibility after a while. Like, and obviously Christmas was good crack. Like no health plans consumed at all. Like, but it was good. Like.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Something we're gonna do, I think, for every guest we have on is Jake.
Hello, shut up. Wait, bite. Delay it. I've got to run and get a parcel. My bad.
Oh dear. Right,
Oh,
well
the
we'll delay
question
it, but
marks again.
You have to keep that on.
Jake's devised a list of quick fire questions, which I think are pretty appropriate to sort of break the ice and
Sound.
yeah, I suppose find out what camp you're in with a few different bodybuilding specific
No sweat.
things. But no, mate. I mean, it seems on sort of Instagram, you've handled things post prep very very well. You're still. I was going to ask. There's no more secret shows lined up or anything. No.
That'll
Just
just
gonna keep going
pull
into next year.
serious, man. I'll pull out I'll pull out like a DFBA show in March or
Yeah.
something mad like that. No man, no other shows planned. To be fair, lad, that last show that wasn't planned was probably one of the most enjoyable experiences I've ever had because it was just like obviously in the back of my head I was like, right, prep doesn't end whenever your shows end because if you like realistically if you
Yeah.
do mess up your post show it's like it does ruin your off season, like, you know what I mean. So obviously seeing people who have done it in the past, I was like, right, I have to stay on top of it, have to stay on top of it, and then it was almost like I stayed on top of it too well to a point where it was like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks after the last show and I was still sending fun like check-ins and post-workout shots, and he was like, mate, that PCA Galway show was getting more and more tempting by the week, and I was like, that's fair enough. And then I was like, no, I'm on off season, man. Come on, don't be convincing me. And then there was one week where he was like, we can do it if you want to, and I was like, you know what, fair enough. So me and the girlfriend just went down for the weekend, man, and treated it as like a wee weekend away in Galway, and it was absolutely sweet. Went down, munched a few happy hippos before I went on stage, and fucking showed up. It
Very
was
good.
mad.
Perfect peak.
Oh, what
Uh,
man, unbelievable peak. You see everybody else, like, because it's an enhanced show, obviously as well. You're chatting to competitors backstage, and they're like, "Oh, I have this to deploy pre-stage," and I'm like, "I just give me the box of chocolate happy apples, and I'll be sweet to do the dance." Like,
uh, no, I'm sure it was more enjoyable as well, just because there's obviously not really any pressure on you.
yeah, exactly, man. There was no pressure at all. It was just like obviously because there was no peak, and then we literally treated it as like a rest day. So the day before I train push, and just ate my normal meals, and then fun was like obviously changing things about a wee bit before we went on stage, and I was just really really enjoyable. Um,
Where
I
would you rank that in terms of like your preferred looks on stage? Because I remember seeing the photos of you at that, and I was like, your chest looks a little bit more filled out.
I
And I was like, this is actually like one of his best looks.
No, I know a lot of people said that to me afterwards, lad, and I think that was just because like the ultimate stress drop off of like,
Mm.
the season's over, we can just like puss about. And then obviously more food going on after the MBW show. Honestly, that was like, if I was to look back, I would say that's one of my top three favorite looks because obviously I like the first, like, you know yourself, Matt, like towards, and maybe CBAM as well, towards the end of the season your physique sort of fades a wee bit whenever you're digging for that like extra bit of condition. And obviously like I look back at photos now and the look leading up to the first PCA Natural in Ireland, so the dairy show, I was like really happy with that. I was like, I was full and I was like fresh because obviously I hadn't, it was my first show and hadn't gone through multiple peaks. So I would say that would be like my favorite one. Just tying it on with the fact that all my friends and family were there. Like a few of you boys were there. It was just
I remember the hotel. Do you remember you came and posed in the hotel? And we were
exactly.
like looking at like the midsection from the side, and it had
Uh,
that crazy downlighting from the hotel room,
that's
and
right,
that
man.
was just unbelievable. It was
The
so
last
sick.
thing I remember before the show was like Matt was so like Seabam and Jake. Matt was there with fun, obviously, and
Hmm.
I sort of know the girl that owns the hotel, so I got them a hotel room. So him and Fun, Noah, and Matt were staying in the same hotel room, and I had like a check on my Fun the night before. And Matt was like, "Jesus, man, you didn't tell me it was this lean," and I was like, "I didn't even know I was this lean, to be honest," because you know the way you're in your head so much in
Yeah.
prep.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I need to get leaner. I need to get bigger. I don't like, I look like shit. And then somebody else says, Jesus, man, you're absolutely diced. And I'm like, right, game on.
Mhm.
So, it was
That was
good.
sick.
Very
Mhm.
good. Very good. Well, we will obviously run over and get into the specifics of your season,
Yeah,
100%. Jake, are you ready now?
Yes, mate, that was awful timing. There's a parcel coming in like an hour gap window,
Our
and then of
window.
course the time that you call on me, the fella pulls up outside the house, and then Milo starts going 90 with cheese, and fuck's sake. Like, but here, so. We'll make it a bit of a tradition on the Lifestyle Loops podcast when we get a guest on, as a way to sort of get an insight to them as a person. I think this is a lot better than hearing their entire backstory and how they were raised and what primary school they went to. We've got a list of 11 quick fire questions that I put together. So if they're shite, it is my fault, but we'll get right into them. I might ask you to divulge a bit more on your answers if there is a bad take, but we'll try to get through
100%.
them.
Go for it.
We'll try to get through them as quick as possible. So, number one, cream of rice or oats?
Oats,
Prep or off season?
prep,
Takeaway or street food or a fancy meal out?
take away, man. Has to be.
Dub. Never get stronger or never get bigger again? This one
That was a
is
good
my fault.
question from last week. Never get stronger because honestly, I'm weak as puss in most of my movements anyway. Like, so it's,
Yeah,
it's all good.
exactly.
Favorite exercise?
Um, leg press.
Dead on the
What
higher
accompanied by smell and salts.
one. As a spectator, classic men's physique or open?
Um, as a spectator, classic.
Pick one, coffee, energy drink, or pre-workout.
Coffee. Surely a
What's
coffee,
the
man.
coffee order?
Um, During prep, it was obviously double espressos. Like I still do like a double espresso to be fair, but I like an oat milk latte with a double shot of espresso. Unreal.
Oh, that's spill material. Estrogen maxing. City break or a week in the sun?
City break, that has to be.
Now this one I know the answer's bad. Favorite Ben and Jerry's tub?
Oh, lad, right.
If you go off your list, what you told me.
Aye, baked Alaska.
Matt,
Oh no,
horrible take.
Man,
It sounds awful. I've not
no, mate,
lad, it's
that's
not
bottom of
bad. It's like
mine.
it's not bad. Like
That is dead, but rock bottom of Matt's list. I haven't had it, but like,
I don't think
oh
I've
man,
Baked
tried baked
Alaska's
Alaska.
down the bottom.
oh, you got a list of all of them.
All the ones I've tried, mate. Yeah.
so
Oh,
bad.
lad,
Which is basically all of
every
them.
time I've gone this, like a few times I've gone to cinema, the baked Alaska's always sitting there staring at me like so.
You got
Uh,
baked Alaska in your cinema. It's only cookie dough for me. The
you
wee
only have cookie dough in
chocolate
the
cookie.
cinema.
Yeah, only the
Oh
wee.
no, we have like there's a separate Ben and Jerry's section in our cinema. Like boys, that's why I
Oh,
always
forgot. I was
Jake,
missing out.
Jake being the movie critic will be flat out at the cinema.
I'd be ruined. Off season will be over before I start.
Landy Derry, lad, it's better, crack.
And last one, strong front shots or strong rear shots?
Strong front shots, man. It's like the first thing the judges see.
Yeah,
Very good. That's them wrapped
great.
up. I think they're
Lethal.
pretty interesting answers. Just the Ben and Jerry's one is just wild though.
Yeah.
Man, to be fair, like obviously you boys were Ben and Jerry's aficionados. Like I was listening to the episode the other week when you were like going through what you like all three of your favorite flavors, and it's like Big Alaska's up there for me, boys. I just do love white chocolate. I think it's unbelievable. Like white
I
chocolate
do
and anything.
agree. I'm a huge fan of white chocolate, but I just feel like there's not enough in baked Alaska.
Mate, I'm
I
gonna
come
be
on.
real. I
The
don't
issue
even
I
know
have
what
with
it
cookies,
is.
though.
Like, I
Oh,
had to look it up there.
you haven't even tried it
I
yet,
looked
man.
it up and it just sounds terrible. It's just like, oh, here's some vanilla ice cream, a few chocolate chips in it.
Aye.
So
It's got a marshmallow in it
back
though.
in the day before they started doing all these mad flavors, it wasn't bad. It was actually
Aye.
decent.
Do you
But
know
then they
what though?
started
Like,
bringing out everything.
well, obviously, like it's baked Alaska for nostalgic reasons. Then after
Yeah,
we're going into the mad flavors, and it'll be Netflix and chilled, and we'll have a wee bit of like.
Oh, there we
Jake loves
go.
that.
Love that. Maple
Boys, have you ever tried the ones with like the core and the middle? No.
Yeah, caramel
Yeah.
sutra.
caramel
Uh,
suture. We had that in rugby, wasn't it? Yeah.
Do you
boys,
remember? We were like, we need to cut this perfectly because obviously it's like
you
one
need to
ice
get the
cream on
you need to
one
get the
side.
cross section.
So you ended up taking it out and doing it like horizontal. So we each got like,
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
so
That was
instead of
such a
like
fucking
getting the
mess.
left side, yeah, it just turned out a
I was
complete
like
disaster.
pawing the Ben and Jerry's to try and get them even. We
Boys,
all
they're ridiculous. Like, that's when you know your food focus is fucking
I was gonna
unbelievably
say,
high. Is
yeah,
when you veer away from the normal flavors and like, right, what can I fund this core, this fudge cookie core in the middle, like.
there was method to the binge. I think it's fair to say.
mate, yous were just there to rip the piss out of me. Remember, I had a bit of spinach on my bagels, and you started wetting
Yeah.
yourselves. Like, oh, imagine having leafy greens on your meal one. I just
Oh, that was
center
funny.
Bro
of
had half a lily pad inside. Yeah, I remember that.
it. Lily
It's
pad.
just so funny though, like watching you sitting there with it. Um,
Oh,
to be honest, a lot of those answers kind of satisfied me. I agree with a lot of them.
Man, I
So,
was thinking about the classic one there now, and obviously, like, I love men's physique. For me, it's like unbelievable. Like, I couldn't see myself competing anywhere else, mostly because like my legs are shit. But I just like the whole flow of men's physique, and I feel like I'm good at it.
mm,
But classic is just like classic's just very nice to watch, like the routines and
yeah,
stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Like,
I think it's because classic is very presentation based,
yeah,
yeah,
like similar to kind of the way men's physique's going. But classic,
exactly.
then you then bring in the full sort of physique,
Yeah,
and like there's more muscle, better. Well, I'm not going to say better conditioning, but you can assess the conditioning more because
yeah,
you
Yeah,
see the full
see in the
physique.
glutes and
But
stuff.
it's that
100%, man.
presentation and that entertainment aspect of it that makes it
Exactly.
something to
Like in
watch.
my opinion, that's one of my like what's that's one of the most enjoyable things. Well, my favorite thing about bodybuilding is the presentation aspect. Like, obviously for myself as a competitor, like I was outsized by 90% of the competitors I was against this year, and the only reason I did so well was because like presentation was rewarded so like heavily in the federations that I did. So I
Here, it's quite relevant. Talking about men's physique and classic. How do you think Kez will do if he does hop into a classic show?
he
Is
looks
he
very good from what
So
I've
hard to
seen.
say
Yeah,
because based on the shows that he's told me that he wouldn't mind doing, he's going to have his like most important men's physique show at a similar time to the classic shows. But obviously, his like you can be ready for a men's physique show, but
uh
then need to be
Kez
10
carries
pounds
all his
leaner
body fat in his
for
legs as well.
yeah. So you need to be 10 points leaner for his bodybuilding show, but
yeah.
it's at the same time. So then it's like, does he try and get the hamstrings in, but then risk the upper fading? And I think he's wanting to go down the two bro route as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I don't really know. It's so hard to say. Like he's got like really good potential, but it is just like that body fat distribution, but also the like his glutes and his hamstrings aren't that strong either. So
Yeah.
I never even considered the like conditioning disparity between the
yeah,
two classes. Actually, that's
Yeah.
100%, man. Because like you'll notice a lot of guys in men's physique, like some guys will have like you can see through the board shorts. Obviously, some guys will have like quad separation and like their legs are shredded. But like there'll be other people that are absolutely dicing the upper body, but then you look at their legs and you can't see like
yeah.
any separation or conditioning
mm,
at all.
Yeah.
And it's just like them boys are suited for men's physique and they're not suited for bodybuilding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
if you even think about how many people sort of joke about jumping into a men's physique show when they're like 2 months away from their first bodybuilding show.
Sure, Finn did
Uh,
it, didn't he?
Yeah, where people actually do it. It's like it's because the front always comes in so much quicker, or the upper body comes in so much quicker than that lower body.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the things Fun said to me this year, obviously, because like I was like from like 8 weeks out or whatever, I was pretty lean, and every check on Fun was like, right, there's a wee bit more to come off your obliques, but then you'll be in for men's physique, and then I was thinking like, and for men's physique, that's so foreign to me because obviously it was my first season, and I didn't realize like the majority of the time men's physique competitors don't get like fully conditioned as comparable to bodybuilders. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The only thing men's physique competitors have to do is get shredded from the upper body, and
Mm-hmm.
because basically that's all you're judged on. Like you're not going to be judged in men's physique on your leg conditioning. Like nobody's going to look at your glutes through your shorts and be like, right, oh, it has fucking ass. It's like a croissant, right? He give him extra points. Like you have to be on from the like upper, and that's it.
Yeah. I always remember seeing that photo, Matt. I don't know if you remember seeing him. Ross McCandless from the compound room, who
Ooh.
competed men's physique. I think he just narrowly missed out on a pro card the same year that I done the show, and
Yes.
made like his glutes and hamstring. Like he could have stepped on stage as a bodybuilder, but he's probably he's up there, one of the best men's physique competitors, I would say, in the country. But yeah, it is funny. I didn't fully consider that until I was talking to you about this, Matt. Maybe like 2 weeks ago, I think we were talking about Kez hopping in.
Mhm.
I think he has really good shape though. Like,
He does.
Oh,
from the,
mate,
the
he's
shots I've
brilliant.
seen, he was
I
really
like
good
it.
shape. But
His waist is like ridiculously small.
yeah,
Mm.
so
Because we were
uh,
playing about with his front poses, the classic ones, and we were like, you probably don't need to like rotate your hips away to make your waist any smaller because your waist is just genetically ridiculous. You may as well pose that front on and look bigger, and then be able to keep a little bit more through your lower body. Because his lower body's like it's not bad. It's really good for a men's physique athlete, but
Aye,
it's just so it gets sort of dominated by the upper body because his
aye,
delts are so ridiculous. So it's like
aye. His
so trying
delts
to
are freaky, man.
mm,
I think as well, this is probably a good opportunity to cover the actual posing, Shay, because you obviously said there you were up against guys that were a lot bigger than yourself, and it's
Yeah,
it kind of stuck out to me even as someone like, admittedly, with men's physique, right? I don't really know a lot of the time what I'm looking for. What I'm looking at though is, yeah, probably delts, chest, and then I'm always looking at the guy's waists.
yeah,
And like straight away, whenever I was looking at your shots and whatnot, I was thinking, oh, like this guy knows what he's doing. How
yeah.
early did you start thinking about posing? Obviously, with this being your first season, and did you start with Kez right away, or?
Aye, so I started with Kez after like a month or two of like just looking at his Instagram. Actually, so it was I found his Instagram like when I first started with fun. So I started with fun in September. And then after it was either September, October, I started with fun, and then like a few weeks after that, there I was just scrolling through Instagram and saw Kez, and I was like, oh. And then obviously one of the main things that Kez preached back then was like you need to start your posing early, and one of the things that he does preach, and I obviously preach now, is you need to start posing early. So I started actually practicing posing at the end of 2024, and then at the start of like it was either January or February, I started like coaching obviously with Kez full time. It was before January, sorry, because in February Kez had like a meetup and I think it was Bradford. And I went over there, and obviously you were talking last week about how James Melville did like the posing sessions and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they are really valuable because I went over to that and like gained like just a lot of knowledge and was seeing other guys there, and it was like, oh, it was really good. But I started posing really early. I think a lot of guys make the mistake of, oh, I'm 5 weeks out. I better start practicing my posing now, or I better start. Let me think of a routine. And you're like, lad, if you've left it that long to start, you're going to be behind 90% of the competitors. You
the
know what I mean?
amount of people that come to me and they're like they inquire early, they inquire at the right time, and then they're like, yeah, I'm going to start up when I'm 6 weeks out, so my physique will be more dialed in then, and
Aye,
I'll be able to see all the details. And I'm like, mate, you'll feel like absolute death at that point. You won't
lad,
do it, and it's
exactly.
not enough time.
Yeah, I know.
It's so
So you
stupid.
may as well practice posing whenever you have the energy to put under it, you know what I mean? So if you have the mental capacity to, right, I need to fix this, I need to fix this, you may as well do that whenever you haven't even started prep.
Mm.
And so whenever you start prep, then you're like, right, I know how to get into the poses, I know how to transition, I know how long I'm going to be held in these poses, because if you're doing that whenever you're 5 weeks out, man, your head's already mashed from like low food and like losing fat over prep, you know what I mean?
It's a little bit more applicable to bodybuilding as well, but like when you get to that stage and your legs are fucking dragging,
Yeah.
trying to like stay on your quads, stay on your glutes, stay on your hamstrings. If you haven't
Oh,
practiced that, it's a nightmare. Like men's
crazy,
physique, you
man.
can kind of get away with it. Like lower body doesn't really
Yeah,
affect anything.
I know.
But for bodybuilding, like if your legs feel like lead, and then
Yeah.
you're like, shit, I can't even stay on my quads.
No, I know, man. I
You're
remember that
gone,
at the
mate.
back end of prep. Even like obviously, I know it's not comparable to bodybuilding with keeping your legs turned on, but I remember because obviously men's physique, you have to keep your abs on in every single pose. So like at the back end of prep, I was still doing like I don't know if any of you boys saw my stories during prep, but every like most mornings I would post like a photo of like a wee timer I have,
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
and I would do like
Drilling them. You were
boys.
drilling.
I would do like 5 or 6 rounds of 20-second holds, and that was like PCA poses. So PCA has like, if you don't know, PCA has 9 poses. So that was 20-second holds in each of them, and on all the poses you have to stay tight in your abs the whole time. And sometimes I would go up to 30-second holds and stuff like that, and it was just like you got out of a posing session and you were genuinely months like, but that's all because I know when I step on stage, if I can go through 4 rounds of 30-second holds and be gassed by the end of it, then when I step on a PCA stage and they hold you for 10 seconds for 2 rounds, I'm like, this is a piece of puss. You know what I mean? You're gonna look like you know what you're doing way more than anybody else who hasn't practiced. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think it's massively important. I think regardless of discipline, and it is something that just gets overlooked 90% of the time because obviously, especially being based in Ireland, you know yourself, it does feel like at times the vast majority of the competitors maybe aren't, thinking about a lot of this stuff as
Yeah.
much as maybe we would, or they're 6 weeks out, I might jump in the show or whatever. So they're not thinking about a lot of this stuff and they're focusing on the training or the cardio. Maybe they're smashing cardio daily.
Ah, man.
Posing's the
45 minutes
aspect.
Stairmaster, like.
Yeah. Um,
Over here, like you don't get
I
reps that people aren't doing that.
yeah,
know.
exactly. But yeah, no, posing's a massive part of it. Um, I suppose when we're on sort of the topic of Kez, do we want to talk about the big
Yeah.
announcement as well?
Hi,
Seeing,
sweet man. So this'll I was chatting to a few boys that this will probably be released whenever it gets announced. But Kez is rebranded Kesthetics Potions, so he's basically removed his name from the business and he's expanded. And he's expanded it to Kaizen posing. And he's brought on a few more posing coaches. One of them being me. So me, Ryan Parker, and Cameron Boyle, we're all going to be posing coaches along with Kez on that Kaizen posing. And to be fair, man, the service is being offered. And the service upgrade from like his previous business is ridiculous. Um, we've obviously been going back and forth with Kez, and having calls and stuff like going on in the background and putting things together the past few months. But like for men's physique athletes, this is like it's basically going to be the best posing service available like out there. Um, I know what's going on in the background, and I know what athletes are getting offered, and you won't find it anywhere else. It's like it's ridiculous. Um, you don't see any other men's physique posing coaches out there who are putting this much effort on it as Kez does, and as obviously me, Cam, and Ryan are going to be over these over these next few years. Um, and it's gonna be really good. If you are a men's physique athlete, I would highly recommend getting on board on Kaizen posing. It's going to level up your stage presence so much. Obviously, we were talking there now about how important posing is, and this is giving you all the resources you need in order to excel whenever you step on stage. Like,
I think you are like a prime example of how well Kez was operating the
yeah,
service though. Because see, when I seen you on stage, like it is just like 10 pounds of aura you've got alongside yourself, and
yeah.
I don't know how you hit that erector pose. I've been meaning to ask you forever. How the fuck do you do that? Like,
you want the behind the scenes, right? So this
I
is
really
right.
do.
It's a Kaizen exclusive, right? So what you do is see whenever I lean over like that and
Uh-huh.
pull like sort of row back. So I'm basically rowing back and thinking about engaging my lats when I row back. While I'm doing that, I'm squeezing my glutes and pushing them toward like, so say if my back's facing the audience, I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm pushing them away from the audience. So whenever you squeeze your glutes, basically it lights up your erectors, and then whenever you roll back like that, it basically like you're basically doing a lat row onto your back.
With your glutes squeezed. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
this workout today, and I better look like a fucking Christmas tree.
try it, lad. It's unreal. It's
Jake,
like
I'll let you in on a secret. You need to have the back development for it.
Shut up, mate. I've got the erector development. What did Christian James ask me?
serious,
He was like, "You're
man.
all right, mate. You need you no other parts of your back."
Jake being able
People,
to deadlift 3 times the amount of weight that I can, and I can still I can still pull the Christmas tree.
people won't actually know that, but the context of the Christian James one at the where was it?
It was
Derby
the
seminar?
MBW one, Derby.
Oh, the MBW. Christian had a rear lat spread. Christian James come up behind me and just says, "Do you deadlift a lot?" And I was like, "Yeah, a wee bit." And he was like, "I can tell." So he either was really complimenting my erectors or just saying
It was like a
they're
backhanded compliment, wasn't it?
yeah, your rear lat spread shite, but your erectors are decent, mate. So crack on. But yeah, no, I wanna be able to hit that because when you're on stage, mate, every transition you were basically hitting the erector pose, and it's like
Uh,
couldn't get
you
annoyed at it because it just looked that good. It was
we
like
were talking about that after. I think you posted a YouTube video, and it was like all I heard in the crowd after like any time we turned to the back was Jake was being all like spamming that erector post.
I posted that stage footage of the overalls, didn't I? Yeah.
It was on your YouTube, but it was funny, man. All I heard in the crowd was like, "Geez, he's spamming the erectors." Like it was.
That
I
was
love.
a really good show. Like I thought you pushed. It was Conor McCarthy, wasn't it?
Man, I was like,
WNBF Pro, and I was like, mate, Shay can beat him here.
when they were doing the announcement for the overall, man, I was standing there, and it was like it was one of them moments where like obviously I didn't know how good I was going to be this year until like you compete obviously. So like whenever I won juniors, I put my hands behind my head. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. And then I went on the overall, and I was like, like obviously. Sam, who was coached by Fun, he was in the overall. There was some other guy in the overall, and I was like, right, they're both bigger than me, so we'll have a bit of fun. And then they moved me onto the centre with Connor. I was like, boys, what? And then
Hmm.
you know when you get moved on the center and you get like a bit more confidence going about you,
Yeah.
so like you clap a hands and you're like, right, boys, let's have it. And I feel like I posed like with a bit more confidence when I was in the middle. And whenever we get sent to the back, I was like anything could happen here. It was like it was mad. Like you got goosebumps. And obviously when they announced him, I was like, no, fair enough, because I like had already exceeded any expectations I'd set of
He's a
myself that day.
WNBF Pro, like.
I
Yeah.
know, and then obviously he got better as the season went on too, like, but it was just really fun. But back to your point, Jake, it's like the the posing helped me so much this year because, like, as I said, I was outsized by most of my competitors, and the one thing that I had in the back of my head is like, right, you need to play to your strengths, and two of my strengths that I had were like condition and obviously posing, and that's why I started practicing my posing so early was because like I knew that if I can master this, then I would overtake so many competitors that are like bigger than me, even maybe even more conditioned than me. Because boys, like you know yourself, if you have like the widest set of shoulders and the smallest waist ever, but you stand completely front on, like you're gonna look so bad compared to someone who's angling their
Yeah.
waist to the side and knows how to like rotate their upper back and like present your physique in a way that like shows your strengths and obviously hide your weaknesses as well. So I think that's why it was so important for me and like the main reason why posing helped me won like so many shows this year.
I do wish like everyone listening to this could have seen you on stage because it's all well and good. You can see the condition in a photo, but the stage presence, like how you were transitioning shot to shot, like how you were like hyping up the crowd at times, and just tell you could tell you were just loving the being up there. Like it made
Yeah,
such a difference,
it
and
was.
it definitely stepped you ahead of a lot of competitors.
It was so fun, man. And I think there's something to be said about federations who award stage presence. So like I think that was why PCA was so good for me this year because like I don't know if you boys know, but PCA like they do they do favor people who have like a good stage presence about them. Like that's one thing that the judges look for. If you're on stage and you're smiling and you make it look easy, and the crowd is behind you and stuff, and like it all adds to your like complete like, your package you bring on stage. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Even flicking or going to that it's the PCA Naturals finals.
Yeah,
That one where
yeah.
like Reese Kiffin beat like Josh Croggan, he
Aye,
beat
man.
Jovan and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just because his pose and his presentation was just absolutely perfect. The
Oh
way I
man, that
kind of
was
look at it, it's like with PCA, it's almost like you're watching like a video where every single like millisecond is being judged, and within that, you're perfect. Like if I was to take a photo of you when you aren't even in a pose, you still look like you're posing.
yeah,
If you compare that to like I don't know NBFR or WNBF, you'll see guys and they're like perfect within the pose, and then coming out of the pose, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's what I noticed between like obviously whenever I did the MBW show and towards the end of the year, like PCA is very like PCA wants you to look good at all times on stage
mhm.
because they're like obviously PCA bring out reels like bang on whenever you get off stage. So they're always looking for people who look really, really good on the lights and stay looking good for the entirety of the time you're on stage. Whereas as you said, Matt, and like MBFI, maybe even like UKDFB, maybe even
Mhm.
WNBF, but maybe not. But like because I've never competed with them obviously, but like they're looking for like a classic, like you look good in the pose, and then you're being judged in the pose, moving between poses. They don't really mind. They just want you to hit the pose, and like
Always like to
obviously,
give you a little bit of leeway. Like if you're
yeah,
not perfect in between the poses, they're like,
yeah,
it's not the end of the
Yeah.
world.
but
I
then there's
think
trade offs obviously because PCA don't hold you as long in the poses, whereas in WNBF obviously you could be held in the pose for like 30 seconds. You know what I mean? And then UKDFA and stuff they're holding you in the poses a lot longer. Like so, there's slight differences between federations, and obviously it's just all about which federation that you yourself excel in. You know what I mean?
That's actually a really good point of like if you're competing for the first time next year, understand and do a bit of research on the federation you're going into.
Yeah,
Like PCA, I remember being at PCA, one of the PCA natural shows, and literally you would be in the pose for 5 seconds and then you were straight into the next. So it was like, okay, well, if my client's competing in that, need to make sure they're not faffing about, taking five
uh,
seconds to get into the pose because the judges
exactly.
are just going to skip you and move on.
I know.
But then with WNBF, it was like those boys were being. Do you remember that? Like they were being held in the pose for like 30 seconds in classic. It was
Yeah,
absolutely mental because there were so many people on stage and they were literally looking at every single one. And let's say you're at the end of the line and they've looked at like the first 10 people, they're looking then at you. And if you haven't been able to practice your posing and hold your poses,
yeah.
suddenly you look like shite by the time they look at you.
Yeah, 100%. I think he has put up a reel of this like a while ago, and it was him. It was one of his rounds at the WNBF UAE show, and it was like a quarter turn, and they were like right quarter turn, and then they held him on it for ages, man. And you were
Mhm.
sitting like it was almost like you were watching the video, being like, right, when are they going to say back post? When are they going to say turn him like face their ear? Because it was crazy. Like so, if you're not able to hold that, then you're months. Like you know what I mean?
yeah. The same sort of thing kind of happened with me at the WNBF Worlds where the footage is on YouTube and I've watched it back and obviously overanalyzed myself a few times. But I even remember stepping off stage and thinking, what the fuck was going on there? Because I seem to be the only one doing it. But the way that they would do it, like they'd say, right, side chest, whatever. And then the guy would go relax. And then he would take like 5 seconds from relax to calling out the next pose. And on him calling relax, all the other guys in the class, they just stood there like,
Mhm.
whereas I was going straight into the side relaxed of that
Yeah.
side or whatever. And
Yeah.
at times I almost felt like, fuck, like I've put myself through way more cardio here and like put myself through so many different poses trying to hold myself better. But funny, whenever I came off stage, it was actually in my feedback, props to you for going into those relaxed shots rather than just standing there.
Exactly,
That's
man.
it's something as well that it's not you're not really told that, with the WNBF.
Yeah.
Um,
I think if you can get into your head where you think, as soon as I step on that stage, I'm being judged at all times, like
mm,
not just within a pose, if you can have it in your head that as soon as you step foot and are going through like front relaxed, side relaxed, etc., you're being judged.
Yeah.
So if the judge calls a different pose, you're still being judged. Keep that in
yeah.
your head because it'll pay off. It'll make such a big difference.
100%, Matt. Like that's probably one of the things you preach, and it's one of the things we obviously preach at Kaizen as well. That you're like when it see at that exact moment, whenever you're walking on from the right or left hand side of the stage, no, you should be thinking automatically, right? Waist control, abs on, smile
Mhm.
all the time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You literally don't let up anything until you get off the stage. And even as you were saying, CBAM, like moving in between poses, if they say like right, relax, you're straight onto your front shot or you're straight onto your side relaxed or whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, it's like yes, relax, but don't really relax at the
Aye,
same time. The same thing actually kind of happened, and I noticed it at the MBFI. Matt, you probably tell this to your clients, but like, say it's a bodybuilding class or even a men's physique as well, but bodybuilding class, say there's 15, and they're sending six guys off to the left, and they're just holding the front relaxed. Um, for me at the MBFI now, there is an argument, that whenever I, first call out, I was called center. I done my round. I think the judges had probably already made their decision, but whenever I get sent to the back, mate, I was fucking holding the front relaxed with my legs at 100% the entire time. And I know there's a bit of discussion around that as well, whether you should be holding at 100% or maybe 80% or whatever, whenever you're not center stage. But yeah, I think for me, that was kind of a big thing that I just tried to beat into my head was whenever you're on stage, you're being judged, and
yeah,
that's it. And just
80% or 100% at MBFI when we were spectating it this year. Just don't be at fucking 0% because
Are you thinking of that one
we were
person?
laughing, to be honest, because some people
yeah,
just didn't give a fuck
yeah,
about
Well,
what
like
they looked like.
literally, like
Was
Yeah,
there a few, was
like,
there, obviously I wasn't doing that, but did you boys notice that there was a few guys just like standing there as if they didn't want to be there? Aye.
yeah,
oh,
mate,
I
once
yeah,
they're not in the call out, they do not give a fuck, and it looks
Aye, that's
horrendous. All it takes is a judge to literally go one glance and be like, what is the point to judging that fella when he
aye,
comes?
exactly, man. He
yeah,
looks at somebody in the right hand side and his head drops because he's not in the first call out, and you're like, right, well, you're not getting a place in at all.
Yeah,
You
you're
know
not.
what I
people
mean?
forget, like you can work your way back in.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
let's
exactly.
say people, judges have maybe sort of done like an early little prediction. Okay, we want him first, him second, etc. Let's say
Yeah,
they're doing a first call out of six guys. Technically, in their head, you could be seventh, but
yeah,
that 6-7 could be interchangeable. So
yeah,
yes, you haven't got in the first call out, but you could just be right on the cusp of it. And then the judges might look at the guys that they've placed in fifth and sixth and gone, not really sure about them. Who else is there? Let's look
yeah,
at the guy we maybe had seventh. They look at you and you're just standing there like you don't want to be there. It's like it makes such a difference. They're thinking, okay, well, he doesn't want to be in there. He doesn't look good. He's not getting a look. We're not going to compare him. So
yeah,
it all makes a difference.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it'll happen again this year, and that's what I was kind of. It's that whole sort of. I feel like it is an attitude, like from those guys. Maybe they just don't know better, guys that do that. But that's kind of what I was getting at the start whenever I said, at times it does feel like there may be people that aren't, they don't put as much or they don't know as much about all this as, the four of us do, and then we maybe take that for granted a bit. It is that sort of mentality of I might hop in
Mm.
the
See,
show.
Bam, I think we were chatting that about. I think we were chatting about that a while ago. That like it's in some case it's getting better, but in some cases Irish bodybuilding and in particular natural bodybuilding is like so removed from natural bodybuilding in the UK and natural
Yeah.
bodybuilding world. Well, like no AJ absolute king, like natural bodybuilding worldwide, like. But it's it's strange, like because you'll see people, I as you say, put like 100% effort on the training, like grinding out cardio, doing everything they can, having their meal timings absolutely perfect, but then they get on stage and they don't know how to flex their abs. You know what I mean?
hmm Yeah. 100%. Um, that first PCA show that you guys were at, was that your first show, Shay?
Yeah.
The Irish Naturals? You
Aye.
came first in that
Yeah.
at Junior Physique, and then the other results, just to run through them, just to, give you your dues. Just to run through your results from the season. First Junior Physique Irish, PCA Irish Naturals. First Junior Physique at the PCA Naturals in Wolves.
Yeah. Well, there
Uh,
was one, but there was the Irish Classic one before that, but obviously I was just like, I was I think it was the 21st of September, which was like the week before the Wolves one. I was like a quiet show. It was just in Derry, so I was like, right, I may as well hop on it, you know what I mean?
Was that the same? No, that wasn't the same date as MBFI, was it? No.
No, it was the same day as the UK DFBA British Championships. Um,
Yes.
the one before MBW, so basically the
Mm.
qualifying one you had to do for MBW was on the
Yeah.
same day as that. But I just did it because it was in Derry, and I was like, right, sweet. That was an
Um,
untested one, but it was quiet enough too.
Handy for you. Probably don't have to
Slept
go that far.
slept me on bed the night before that. It was unbelievable.
Fast. Unreal. And then as well, obviously, you had that second in the junior physique at the MBW.
Yeah,
And then you had that additional show at the end of your season,
uh,
which was first junior men's physique at PCA Galway.
yeah,
So a very successful season, but as you've kind of hinted at, you did favour PCA quite heavily.
yeah.
I was just interested because it's kind of rare to see that. Like, what was the thinking there? Was that something you and Finn mapped out, or was that just, it might just be for yourself as well, the fact you're from Derry. PCA's run pretty much out of Derry, especially in Northern Ireland and as Ireland as a whole, really, besides Galway. Was
Uh,
that kind of just like, oh, well, that's the home show, may as well go down that route, or
I was a bit of a PCA slot to be fair in 2025. Like, but it was do you know what? I didn't even plan to be like set on PCA. So my original plan for the start of the season was that this is so mad, like, but my whole like season roadmap changed after the second show. So I was meant to do the Irish Naturals in Derry, then the Irish Open, which was the untested one in Derry
yeah,
again, and then I was meant to do muscle contest and then call the season there.
right?
The only reason I was like favouring PCA shows was obviously because first of all they were in Derry, and then second of all after the first one I saw what they were awarding, and I was like, right, well, I filled all the criteria for that, you know what I mean? So I was like, in my head I was like, right, I sort of want to compete with federation that rewards like condition and stage presence, and you know what I mean, and like it was always like in certain grapevines and certain like groups there was always word that like all PCA like they award condition or they award shape and they award stage presence. So I was like, all right, sweet, I'll compete with PCA. And honestly, in my head I didn't think I would do like well because it was my first time competing, and I was seeing like obviously you see photos of boys on Instagram and you're like, this boy's massive, and
Yeah,
then they turn up to the show and obviously they're half the size that they look on Instagram, you know what I mean? So I was like,
yeah,
right, I'm not gonna do well. So like if I go and do MBFI, I'm gonna get smoked. If I go and do WMBF Ireland, I'm gonna get smoked, which is like mad to say looking back on it now because I wish I had gone and done MBFI because like it would have been good, it would have been class. Um, but it was just the way the season mapped out was PCA shows just lined up really well for me. Obviously, the muscle contest Ireland show, which was like the natural one, Matt, I think he had an ego doing that. I was meant to do that, and then I changed last minute to do the British finals because I got a qualification for it. So I was like, right, I may as well go over. Didn't expect anything. I was like, right, sweet, I may as well go over and like have a bit of crack, give it a go. Hopefully get a top five placing. And they just all happened to be PCA shoes to be honest.
I'm trying to think who was doing like junior physique at WMBF and MBFI. I know Robbie King did it at MBFI.
Yeah,
That would have been a good matchup because he would be a little bit bigger, but I know your presentation aspect and your conditioning was absolutely spot on. So it would have been a
aye,
good matchup.
Robbie's really good, man. I think he was one of the people that wasn't talked about a lot this year because obviously like he only did one Irish show and then I think he did like a European show then. But mm, man, Robbie's like really really good.
I remember he competed the year I did MBFI, so I didn't think he was competing again this year.
Aye,
He
that's
did
right.
that
I did
well.
back to back years because obviously Jerome was competing the year before,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Jerome came first in MBFI, and then Robbie came back just second year on the bounce and he won it obviously, which was pretty cool to see because you don't really see that in natural bodybuilding, like especially in juniors. Like a lot of guys take years off, whereas Robbie competed in 2024 and then went straight on the NRL season. And to be honest, the progress he made was ridiculous. I don't know if anybody's following him on Instagram, but he made serious progress from 1 year.
I don't want to speak for him, but I think he maybe lost quite a bit towards the end of that prep.
Yeah,
I think he might have changed coaches.
right,
I think he
okay.
just was maybe a little bit overdieted in 2024 when he competed against Jerome. and then
Aye,
just regained that muscle, built some extra muscle, came back, had the conditioning, and smashed it. So
aye, that's class.
Yeah. No, I was just looking through the MBFI results there. Yeah, Robbie obviously won that class. But no, to be honest with you, mate, like it's kind of it's an interesting one because I've never competed with PCA. Matt,
Yeah.
you haven't either, have you?
no,
So
no.
yeah, it's always been like in the back of my head, and actually, I think annoyingly, it's going to escape me for, well, unless I get very lucky here, but it's going to escape me again next year, just with the way things have worked out with that PCA Irish Naturals show being on the same day as the WNBF.
Man, that's
Um,
again, that's ridiculous. That's literally two, like you don't get many shows in Ireland for naturals, you know what I mean? And it's like
mhm.
two of the biggest shows for like people who are looking to do natural bodybuilding in Ireland. They're like, right, these two shows are on my radar, and they make them both on the exact same day. It's mad. Like,
It would have been worse though if it was MBFI and WNBF.
Yeah,
Can
aye,
you
maybe.
imagine how brutal that would have been?
That'd
yeah,
be
it would have been
crazy.
hectic.
So
Thankfully, I do think there's a bit of dialogue between those two federations because they always seem to have it so that they're somewhat close together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the year I did it was actually the most ideal. There was a week gap between them. Last year there was like nearly a month.
No,
Um, can't remember the year you
The year
won
I
the
did it,
overall, Matt. I think it was 2 weeks.
it was 1 week because
Oh,
I
one.
remember looking at it and thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to be juniors for WNBF. It was MBFI first actually, and
Yeah.
then WNBF was a week after. I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
looking
you're
at
right.
WNBF and being like, I'd have to do men's open. They didn't have classic at that point, and I was
yeah,
like, what? It's back to back peaks. I'm just going to give it a miss.
Yeah, yeah. But no, my point being, I've always heard great things about the PCA. I've always heard that the experience as well as a competitor is just like top tier.
yeah.
Because as much as like I wouldn't have a bad word to say about the MBFI or the WMBF Ireland, I will say that with the WMBF, the last time I competed there, the venue's a little bit sort of small. It's a bit dingy. You know, it kind of looks like a sort of place kind of would fall apart if made if one of these storms is bad enough, the roof could be off her. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
And the backstage is tiny. It's the type of show where you'll be told you're going to be on at 1 o'clock, and then all of a sudden you'll get told at half 12 here, you're meant to be backstage. You're on in 5 minutes, you know, and
Oh man, I
it's that
absolutely hate that. It's
it's
crazy.
that type of setup.
I think the PCA Ireland kind of suits the venue suits the federation because the shows are never massive. So you
Yeah.
know the way you
Yeah,
were upstairs, obviously in the what was that room? It was like a studio room, the backstage.
For PCA, the natural. Oh, I
Yeah,
was like the green I know it because I'm from Derry. Like I
yeah,
was the green room in the Millennium Forum. So it's like I it suits like I get what I get what you're where you're coming from. It suits like how many athletes are competing on that
yeah.
day.
If you
The thing.
had the number of athletes at MBFI in that venue, that room would have been like awful. You wouldn't have
Uh,
been able to move in it. So I think
yeah,
that venue suits PCA Ireland
see
quite well
Ireland.
because it's never
yeah,
going to be a ginormous show. And then
yeah,
you obviously go down the stairs down to the pump up bit, and
yeah.
it's not massive, but there's enough room for the number of people doing it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I graduated in the Millennium Forum from uni,
Oh, did you go to
so
Ulster?
I did. Yeah.
Nice
So
one, man. I'm a Queens man myself, like, but we can still be
well,
Oh,
friends.
I went to both, mate. I did get the best of both worlds. I done a
Oh,
master's
really?
at Queen's as well, but I went the Ulster up in Derry for 4 years. So it would be kind of cool at some stage. Like I'd love to just compete in that venue.
Uh,
Um, it seems like it has escaped me, yeah, for another season, but we'll see. Like we'll see. There might be an untested PCA show I can hop into or something at some stage throughout my season.
that's always insanely fun. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Take it from me, man. If you happen then on test the PCA show, it's just a bit of crack.
bit of crack.
Um,
Yeah, literally.
see, man, have you talked about your competitive plans for this year? Like what
Yeah,
shows
yeah,
you're doing?
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, no, I think at the moment it's going to be the WNBF Ireland, MBFI. There'll be a third show in there, either a Two Bros or a PCA show.
Yeah.
That kind of has to fall between those 2 hour shows
Okay.
and the MBW, hopefully. So hopefully there's something. Let's be real, it'll probably be in England.
Nice.
Um,
Are you planning to do classic or bodybuilding for whatever show that is?
for whatever show that is,
Yeah.
it'll be bodybuilding just. Yeah, if I
Right.
do, I
Right.
actually was looking at it the other day. If I do classic, it'll be at the WNBF Ireland.
Right. That'll be one of your first shows then.
Yeah, I need to speak to AJ about it, but honestly, I kind of just want to do it as a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to enter it straight away because I know if I do, he'll be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Like now I have to plan like different stage times, and this it's probably best I just speak to him about it first. But
Yeah.
I'm like
100%.
90% nailed on that I'll do it just for the crack.
Nice one. And then
Just
obviously end the season with MBW. Yeah.
yeah, and then hopefully if I qualify to get to the Worlds, I'll do
Beat
that
Oh,
as
Canada
sick,
well.
trip.
man. That's right. That's right. That Calgary, it's on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
So yeah, I think that'll be somewhat similar to Matt's, but I know he's not really announcing specific shows yet. But
He's not
you can
Matt's a
probably
shadow, like.
imagine, like you
in
can
the
probably
shadows.
yeah, he's in the shadows, but there is like, a couple of them shows now I feel like are just like the standouts,
Yeah.
really. Um but no, we've touched on the PCA. What was your experience like at the MBW? What did you think about that, the way it was ran and
Loved it, man. Really, really loved it. The amount of effort AJ put on it this year was, or last year, sorry, was ridiculous. Like, it was, if you told me that that was the first year that show was ran, I would say that show's been running for years in advance. Just the way everything was, the venue, the way everything was set up, the tan and stuff like that. It was unbelievable. It was A1 it was A1 tan doing the tan, and I honestly think they were better than like Nicola. If any have talked to Nicola, she's like insane crack. Like it was just good vibes. And then the fact that they had like Kez had us stand and stuff like that. And I was at it the next day. Me and Ryan were working at it with Cam, and then just the whole bit like the whole experience itself. It was very athlete forward. You know what I mean? So a lot of federations will put on a show and it'll be like very like um do this, and just making sure that the show runs as smoothly as possible. Whereas AJ is very centered towards the athlete, so he was like, right, what can I do to make this the most enjoyable experience for the athlete that turns up? Um, and I loved it, man. The day before, it was like there was like a whole like expo set up where you went and got your number and got your photo taken with the photographer. It was really good, lad. And whenever you two boys do it this year, and obviously whenever Jake puts a trunks on in the future and steps up there, it'll be it's class. Like I would highly recommend it.
I think Jake, you had pretty much earmarked it as the show. Like I remember listening. I think it was on the first episode of Beyond the Process, wasn't it? You said it was like it's on a
Yeah,
pedestal for you. Like
yeah.
that's the
It just looks ridiculous. Like it does look like the new like standard of
yeah.
what you want to aim or base your season around. So 100%, it'll be like a big focus for me. Rather
Class.
than 2027 or 2028 or fucking 2032
When we're
Sick, man.
ready.
when I'm ready.
Um,
And the time's right.
exactly. But no, yeah, I'm very excited about doing that show this year. I think it'll be, obviously the standard's going to be very high, and
Aye.
I think a lot of people know that. Even some of the guys like Aiden's a good example. Like he didn't place. He got what second call outs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At the MBW, but
Went to Worlds, man, and
went
came
to Worlds,
second.
came second. But I think everybody knows that show with the eyes that are on it, especially bodybuilding, where the standard is there now.
Yeah.
You might not necessarily expect a place unless you're like one of the best in the world, or you're like extremely extremely good like yourself. Um, but I think just even being there for the spectacle and stuff with where that show's at right now it's probably fair to say like that's the attraction as well. Like that's the appeal.
Oh,
Um,
exactly, man. It's the fact that MBW is so like it's obviously it's worldwide. You know what I mean? So like anybody sees MBW that is under the natural volleyball space, they're going to know exactly what it is, and I think that's why it attracted so many like foreign competitors. Obviously, because AJ is such a well-known coach
mm,
worldwide, first of all, and then second of all is like MBW is like that. MBW is like that name. So like competitors from Italy, Spain, France, anywhere around the world, you know what I mean? They're going to see that name and be like, right, I need to compete in the show. And I think that was why the standard was so high, particularly in bodybuilding and classic. Like the standard in bodybuilding, especially in the pro show, was insane. Like I don't know if you want like the boy won it. Was it is he called Gene?
Gene,
Good
yeah,
for you.
He was
yeah.
in person, man. That was the most ridiculous thing I'd seen in my life. because I was watching it the second day, and it was like whenever he stepped on stage for the pro show, I was like, this is mental.
Yeah. No, I think the whole thing just looked like it was expertly ran. What about backstage and stuff? Was that all like a good experience as well, or
Backstage was sweet. It was the only thing was right the backstage area compared to like the spectating area. Backstage was freezing, and then the
Mhm.
spectating area was like unbelievably warm. So it was nearly like you would like to have it the other way about. You know what I mean? So like
yeah.
instead of sweating your balls off watching it, you would rather be like warm backstage so you can actually get a pump.
Okay.
Um, but it was sweet to be fair. Like
It
I
had the
came in.
wee TVs, didn't it? So you could actually watch the show backstage, and
Ah,
you could
exactly,
see
man.
they had a timer counting down until the next class. They had the TV, so you could watch the current class as well.
Aye, so they
They
had a
had
live stream playing
the
backstage, and it was
full.
like,
Do you remember the full table of like food, water, salt,
ah
just in
man,
case
I
you
nailed like 3 dates before I went out on stage. It was like
needed it?
me and Ryan were pumping up backstage, and he was all going to have a date, and I was like, oh, it was class.
Yeah,
Here,
that's
Oh,
well.
it
here's
was
one.
sweet.
Who would you like to see commentate it next year, the live stream? Because we had Xena and Thorburn this year, and they had done a hell of a job. Like, I enjoyed listening to them, but is there any personalities you would want to do it next year?
Adam Power.
Christian.
Nah, I would say those two. Um,
I like Thorburn and Xena to be fair,
Yeah,
man.
they were
Thorburn was glazing
okay.
me for the whenever I was on, so I'm like I'm happy enough keeping Thorburn. Like,
Yeah, I would
Mate,
probably
can you
say
imagine Christian doing it? Like Christian Chapman, not Christian James, Christian. How fucking brilliant that would be if he actually cared about natural
Christian
bodybuilding.
yeah,
Chapman
I was gonna
commentating a
say
natural bodybuilding show.
That would be so
That's
funny.
on my 2026 bucket list.
Oh,
yeah.
2026.
No, I
Oh,
think Cena and Jack done a good job, to be fair. That's the other thing, the live stream coverage I thought was class. Mate, I was in Greece and was watching it on the sunbed.
that's
Do you know what I
class.
mean? Like,
You wouldn't think that, like, because obviously you're paying for live stream for every other natural bodybuilding show, and then you're like, no, sweet, I'm in Greece here. Let me just hop on YouTube and watch like one
yeah,
of the biggest natural shows of the season.
do you think they should make people pay for it though?
they could, and people would.
Like even just like £5.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I was gonna say. I didn't pay for the WNBF Worlds live stream because I'm not paying £20 to watch one class. Personally, right? Like, if I'm gonna watch the Worlds, obviously I'm interested in seeing the pros, right? But I'm probably just interested in seeing the guys I know or the guys from Ireland doing it. So it's probably a couple of classes because, obviously I'm gonna be leaning towards bodybuilding, men's physique, classic, that'll be it. 20 quid for me for that I thought was a bit steep, so I didn't bother this year. And I don't think I did last year either. But if it was 3 quid, 5 quid, 100%, like you would just pay that without a doubt.
Nah, you
Even if it
would,
was
man.
3 or 5 quid a day,
Mm-hmm.
do you know what I mean?
Still pay it, like, because like anybody who's going to be watching that is going to be like realistically is going to be a bit of a hardcore natural bodybuilding fan anyway. So like they'll have no problem paying an extra 3 or 5 quid. Like especially like 5 quid's nothing, boys. Like you
Yeah.
would pay that to watch it instead of paying like what is it they watch the Olympia? Like is it 60 or like 80
Oh,
quid or
fuck.
something like that?
Olympia's
Yeah,
nuts.
it's obviously a different level, yeah.
And then especially if you're paying 5 quid and you're like, I would happily pay 5 quid if I looked on stage and be like, oh, there's Cameron or oh what, there's Matt. I'm gonna pay 5 quid to watch one of my mates compete instead of being like,
Yeah.
oh here, let me pay 80 quid to see Harry Shupin. Like, you know what I
I think
mean?
Yeah.
the thing is with that MBW show, there was somebody in every single class I was kind of interested to see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there were some classes it was like, holy shit, like there's 10 boys here I know. I wanna make sure I watch it. So
Aye.
that was the difference. Like WNBF Worlds, there was people coming out. There was maybe only like five people in like a women's figure class, and I'm like, I don't really want to watch this.
Yeah.
Aye.
And also with like the time difference as well, it was like I was staying up late to watch like Petra and stuff.
Yeah.
And as soon as Petra was on, I was straight to sleep and missed the other classes. So
Mhm.
Aye.
obviously being in the UK, that helps with there's no time difference. So you could
Yeah.
obviously watch the full show, no issue.
The only thing I think of being free helped with is obviously growth. There is the
Yeah.
argument for that as well. And I know that was kind of where it was angled at this year was like growth of the sport. But I'll give you an example. I actually sent the live stream link whenever the teams were on to two of my clients, both Reese Toll and Reese Hogg, just so they could see like, right, this is the standard, this is like
Yeah,
what's expected. They're hoping to compete in a couple of years' time. This is the sort of what's expected. This is what you'll be put through when you're on stage. Because, for these guys that don't really have a clue, they're kind of just starting out in their journeys. I dare say if it was a couple of quid to them, still being at school, they might not, fuck, they might not even have a credit card, to
Yeah, yeah,
bill for that. So being free for them, they've obviously seen that. And then that's obviously got them a bit more excited about that show. Like
yeah.
whenever I entered it the other day, Reese replied to my story and was like, Jesus, things getting exciting now. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's
Like,
class.
I
so
think like for me, I think I'd said to you, Jake, about this. I was like, my worry was that the live stream was going to be so fucking good that people would be like, I'm not going to go to the show because
yeah,
I could sit and watch that all day. But I
Aye.
think people have looked at the live stream and been like, I need to be at that show.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
yeah. Because that atmosphere in the venue is obviously important as well,
Well,
100%.
how Shay, how did you find the crowd compared to like other shows? Because for me, I was at the majority of your shows, and the PCA Naturals one, the British,
Aye.
I thought that was like one of the best crowds.
Aye. Well, maybe.
MBW I thought was a little bit dead, and I'm not sure if that's just because of maybe the size of the venue, but also like it was weird. I think for the first day especially, the crowd wasn't as good because you were getting people coming in for their tanning and stuff.
Yeah.
So they would have wanted to watch the show, but they're maybe competing the day after. But they're like, I'm not going to come 6 hours before I need to get my tan and just sit there. They're going to
Aye,
chill
exactly.
at the house.
I feel like the crowd at MBW wasn't like like for me. Obviously, it wasn't as good as the end of the PCA shows that I was doing. Well, not end of the PCA shows, but the British finals. I thought PCA, the crowd was like unbelievable.
Mm.
And I think that's the whole thing to do with PCA as well. The fact that they were like no 60-second pose down and stuff like that. Like they
Yeah.
didn't do that for men's physique. Like I was chatting to Ryan Parker backstage. Obviously, I competed against him at MBW, and we were like, right, but like lad, let's have the most muscular in the pose down. Matt was joking with me about how like you need to have a 3/4 twist and rear double. I was like, right, happy days. And then they didn't do a pose down, and I was like, oh, that's one of the most enjoyable parts of it. I think that gets the crowd more hyped up too. But no, in my opinion, at the MBW the crowd wasn't as good, and I don't know if that was to do as well with the fact that the venue was that big. There were so many seats,
It was so
and
long, and they
uh,
had seats right the way back, and then they
the
had
crowd was only filled like halfway.
stands. Yeah. Mm.
But the one thing that they did have at MBW that I was buzzing about was like actual like lethal music. Like see if your or see if your eye walks and stuff. For men's physique, obviously bodybuilding, you choose your own song, but like the tunes that were playing were unreal. They had like I had my eye walk to like Papa Roach, and I didn't even ask them for that. It was unreal.
Yeah.
to be
What was it,
fair,
like 50 quid a day for the tickets, was it?
for a spectator, yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, but even still, Matt, you said earlier, like some people watched it. It was that like conflict of whether people would just sit and watch the live stream next year or the live stream made them want to go to it. Like I want to go to that in 2026 and watch
Yeah,
it, and I'll pay the 50 quid a day because it just looked that good.
100%, man. Will we book an Airbnb and get a few Ben and Jerry's going or what?
A few, mate, get about fucking 10 going.
Me and C-Bam nailing one. What for the
All right,
cardio?
not far. He'll be competing.
We'll be
Mate,
sitting
I'll
eating mince and spinach.
nah, mate.
sweet.
Nail a tub of Ben and Jerry's. You'll go on stage. You'll win.
The
Easy.
look after Ben and Jerry's, man. Jake, you were saying about it, vascular, like.
Yeah.
I
Mate,
was
you
thinking,
do
yeah, we
fully
were talking
loaded.
about this last week. It's like the perfect peak. Uh, um,
Ben and Jerry's in a diazide. MBW won't know what hit it.
Oh, serious, man. Oh,
do you think AJ would have a heart attack? If I told him about that. There was one time backstage. I was talking about this week actually. There's one time backstage. It was in Romania. I didn't have a bottle. It was before I went on for the universe. Didn't have a bottle, so I used a Pepsi bottle for my pre and my pump before I went on stage, and I didn't take the label off. And he walked around the corner, and I was just chugging this Pepsi bottle, and all I heard was, "Cam, are you just drinking Pepsi?" backstage before going on, and I was like, no, it is my fun product. Like, don't worry,
Managing my cortisol edge, yeah,
no
me.
sweeteners here.
For the British finals, I like for PCA British finals on the day. I forgot so much shit for pumping up or like just my food backstage and all. So I forgot to bring scales, forgot salt, forgot honey, and like ran out of food halfway through the day. And it was just like I remember backstage, I'd never chatted to Elliot Gibson in my life, and I just turned around to him and I was like, "Lad, do you have any salt?" And he was like, "I no sweat." And I was like, "Happy days, like it's it was month like."
Nobody's going
Um,
to say no in that situation.
Yeah,
oh,
If they
imagine
do, they're
like
an absolute prick, and you
to be
need to
fair,
go.
Elliot's that massive that if he doesn't say no, I would just be like, ah, fair enough. Like that's
no
that's
worries, mate.
happy days. Like, but I think there's something to be said, man, about the way you were saying like unconventional peaks. I think there's something to be said about your peak just being purely based around lowering stress. Because for me, anyway, the best looks that I've had throughout the season, and like probably the same for yourself, Matt and CBAM, is like the best looks you have is always whenever you're like in the lowest stress environment and like not worrying about your look at all. Like you can throw the most unoptimal food choices at your peak or whatever, but like as long as you're like in a state of low stress and you're just like right happy days, it always works out 10 times better than being like right I have to have this exact amount of rice and I'm not allowed to track my sauce and stuff and you're like that just chill out and have a good time like.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
chill out and enjoy it.
imagine how you'd look after a guapo on a baked Alaska.
Oh, lad, don't be chatting about a guapo now, like, jeepers. Oh,
Guapo,
Have
guapo.
wait,
you had one of
Guapo.
these?
This should have been one of the questions. Guapo or Boojum?
Oh, lad,
No,
that's not even
isn't
a
isn't
question, man.
Guapo like the better one in
Oh,
Derry?
not,
Because
not even a question. Like,
yeah,
Bosom tried to open
it was
a
shite.
shop in Derry, and the
Yeah.
whole town just rejected it because it was flat out so much worse than Guapo. I swear to God, man.
They were
Like,
really close together as well. I remember
ah,
it because
lad,
I remember I went for mate. I went through like a bosom stage in Belfast, and then one of my mates at uni, Sean, he was like, "Oh mate, you wouldn't eat that gash up here. Like go to Guapo." I went to bosom in Derry, and fuck me, it was totally different. I could never understand it.
ah, man, it's like it was quite empty to be fair. Like it was literally for the months that it was open, it was a ghost town, and then they closed because Guapo like the queue for Guapo, right? Because Guapo is like a local business, they open every day, and the queue is like right down the street. Like you can't get under the shop. You have to queue for like at least half an hour to get your Guapo. And then you like take a few steps down the street to Bosom, and there's like it's literally like a funeral home. There's like nobody in it, like
Yeah, I need to try one of these. Like,
that
It's the type of
unbelievable.
place uh you would enjoy. There's another place up there. I'm not sure if it's still open, mate. You might know better than me, but I think it was called like Pike and Palm or something.
Taking bombs, lad. I
It's
was
still
one of
there.
my I was one of my off plans after prayer play. Unreal.
what does it do?
What?
It's like it's fast food, but it's like street food sort of. So they do like they do like tacos, they do chicken burgers, stuff like that. It's like it's basically like high end chippy food, you know what I mean? But they have like a
Yeah.
restaurant where they do all that like cooked really well and like presented really well. They have like oh, I usually like this. It's like calamari tacos, which is basically like fried squid tacos. And
I
boys,
heard, yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God, hey.
They
Yeah.
used to have like it was like a double decker bus, didn't they? That
They
was
still
in
have it, man.
Our
there,
Aye.
do they?
boss,
They have
just
two
put me in
locations,
boss
so it's like
after.
the double decker buses down the quay beside the river, and then they have like a sit down restaurant now. But it's like unreal, boys, unreal food.
That's
Hey,
why I
food.
asked that question in the quick fire, like the street food or like sitting down for a fancy meal, because I think I like the street food more. Like
There's
there's
more of
Mhm.
something
a
about just a load of fucking flavor in like a loaded fry or something compared to sitting down to.
Mhm.
I say they want to go for a steak and maybe potatoes for an off plan. I'm like, fuck that.
exactly, man. It's literally like you're sitting down in the restaurant, but it's the same food you usually just with a
Usually
bit
have.
more olive
Yeah.
oil on it. Like,
And 30 quid extra, like fuck that. No.
Yeah.
Paying for the experience, mate. You're not paying for
Yeah, well,
the
I'd
price.
rather pay for the calories and sodium, to be
Would you?
honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
serious, I'm paying extra for the soda, man. I'm not going out and ordering a like a pan-seared salmon. Like, wise up. I wanna.
To be fair, if I'm like going to fancy restaurants, half the time I'll look at the food and just go, I could have cooked this for myself for like a
Exactly,
quarter
man.
of the price.
Yeah.
Serious, you end up bunching out and ordering a chicken a scallop, and you're like, oh shit, I just should have stayed home and had chicken and rice. Like,
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Oh,
I think in Derry though there is definitely an argument the street food sort of things are better.
aye,
Um There was
100%, man. What you'll notice in Derry is like it's way different in Belfast, boys, because obviously I went to uni in Belfast, and like you just know that the food is like there's a more diverse food choice in Belfast, but in Derry it's like if you go to any particular restaurant, they'll all have the same menu. Like all the restaurants in Derry are owned by the same people, so they serve the exact same thing. Whereas if you go to like local businesses, the menu's gonna be a bit different. You know what I mean?
That's like up in like Port Rush, is it? No, like Coleraine and stuff. You know,
Uh,
what do you call that fucking restaurant in is it in Coleraine? I can't remember the name of it.
For more?
Yeah, the Ramore. So the Ramore and all those other
all
restaurants are
those
all
other ones, I like Neptune and the
Or
Prawn and all that.
yes, they're
Yeah,
all owned
yeah,
by the same people. So
so they
yeah,
it's
all
just
serve
like
the
the
same
same thing.
menu.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, I think the only I just looked it up there to make sure I had the name right. I went to the Mandarin Palace. That was it. The
Come on,
Chinese, like at the corner.
did you
It's solid, mate. To be fair, like I
did you
actually really
sit
liked
on?
it. Aye, yeah, yeah,
Aye. So there's like a whole lore about the boy. The boy owns that called Stan Lee, and he's known for like at the weekends he does an Elvis impersonation. So he's an Asian man obviously, but like he dresses up as Elvis and does like a whole thing at the weekend and all. But
yeah.
it's it's a wild laugh like. But aye, that's like if you're talking if boys are right. If we're talking Chinese takeaways here, like that's up there. Like
It's a good one, yeah. I went there with my family after graduating. Like that's where we went out for food, and I thought, "Fuck, this is banging." And it was the
nice one, lad.
only time I'd ever been up. Everywhere else, yeah, as you say, it had been sort of street food.
Aye.
Up that neck of the woods. But no, there was something else I wanted to ask about. Sort of touching on actual during prep.
Yeah.
I think if I'm right, you traveled during prep, didn't you, to Paris? Is that
Aye.
right? How
I
did you
can't
find
remember how
that?
many weeks. It was grand, man. I can't remember how many weeks out it was. I think it was like maybe eight or something like that. Maybe I'm not too sure actually. Well, hold on. It was. I think it was more than eight actually because it was in May and then my first show was at the end of August. Honestly, man, I thought it was grand. So the way I worked it out was like, um, I I didn't want anything close to any of my shows, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
had already me and my girlfriend had already booked Paris before prep started, so I was like, right, we'll just go and have a good time. And obviously with a city break as well, man, you're gonna be doing like hella steps anyway.
yeah,
So I just brought food for the first day, and obviously brought like cream of rice and stuff like that to make after I trained. And we were only away for 3 days anyway, so it worked out that I was training 2 out of 3 of those days. And I had an off plan one day, which was basically I had like beef tartare or something like that. So it was like a sensible off plan, you know. I wasn't
yeah.
going out the house in like a fucking McDonald's. But I thought it was good, man. I think if you use like breaks and stuff like that during prep, I think you were talking about it last week actually about how like you might plan like a few like maybe not this year like, but it would be from like a stress management perspective, planning a holiday during prep would be like if you look at it as a way to just basically relax and enjoy yourself, it can't do anything but positives during that situation because prep is such like a high stress environment that you're like constantly like you're worrying about your look and then like you're worrying about where your training's at, about progressing training, about keeping your strength, progressing strength that you're like right, if you take a weekend off and go away somewhere, it's the stress drop off's gonna be crazy like.
Crazy. Yeah. No, I did travel. I went to probably the most difficult place to go on prep and not mess up, which was Ibiza on my prep.
Oh,
Didn't drink, didn't eat off plan, did nothing. I went to do a photo shoot primarily, but the lads I was there with were like, right, we'll go out for food. I would have just sat at the table and downed a couple of Diet Cokes. Like that's all I could do really. And I go
all
back and had my food in the evening.
fair
Um,
play, man. I think if you can like see what I notice is if you can stay confident in your abilities to be like, right, this is what I do. I'm committed to a prep. I am a bodybuilder. Then the people around you will just be like, oh, respect, man. You know what I mean? They'll just be happy that
yeah,
you're sitting there in the company. I think I was chatting to Matt about this actually when it's like at Christmas time whenever everybody's doing 12 pubs and you like you're like stressing about, oh, am I going to drink or am I not going to drink, lad? If you find a group of friends that are comfortable with your like just you being there, and if you land out and just have a good time with your mates, you don't need to drink. You just need to like be there and have good solid company with people. Then, like that's what it's for. You know what I mean? That's what social occasions and holidays are for. It's about enjoying time with the people you care about, and it's not about like, oh, how many pints can I need and how many burgers can I eat like.
Yeah.
I went away to Bordeaux in my diet. Well, it was we flew into Bordeaux, but we're staying in a little like town a couple hours outside of it. And the boys I went there with, they didn't give a shit that I wanted to just eat my oats and like Greek yogurt with.
Man,
They were just like, yeah, okay, you can eat. We'll go to the zoo here, and then we'll go cycle, and we'll go do bits and bobs, and like just enjoy the time here. It doesn't matter what we
exactly.
eat. And it was so enjoyable. Like I'll look back at that weekend, and because even though I wasn't eating off plan loads and stuff, I'll still look at that weekend being like, are those few days like that was one of the best trips I've ever been on. It was just like,
No,
Yeah.
so enjoyable. Like it's as you say, man. It's about being in like a different place with your friends and like people you enjoy spending time with. Because I did 3 years ago, I think I did underrating with my friends, and I didn't drink at that stage. It was like first year uni. I didn't really drink, to be honest. So like we went underrating in the south of France as well. Actually, we started in Bordeaux, and we went to like different cities and all. I didn't drink at all, and it was unreal crack. So,
Yeah.
but I
who's
Go
going?
ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
I was going to bring up Amsterdam because we've
I
all hit up Amsterdam and Butcher's heading away
Hmm.
Next
very
week,
shortly.
leave
Did
on
you,
Friday.
Shay, did you go before or after the Galway show?
before.
I was gonna say that. So like that just goes to show how you mentioned earlier, like how on it you were post prep. And like
He
you
was
had
militant, Jake.
yeah, really fucking was. What did you have? Like one off plan or something, and it was the wee brunch spot I recommended to you.
Lad, I was a
Bag
spot,
'em.
to be fair. Like I had two off plans, to be fair. Two. We'll not talk about the five other off plans I had. I'm joking. I had two. I had like a pizza one night, and then the night after that, the morning after that, we walked about and we went to Lagom, and I got like shakshuka, which is literally just it's literally eggs and tomatoes, like you know what I mean. So it was like. I was sensible with my off plans. I think whenever I look back on it, I was like, realistically now, like I could have got away with branching out a wee bit more than fucking like shakshuka, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, 100%.
like having off plan like fun like whenever I was doing check-ins after prep and all, we agreed that I could have one off plan a week because obviously after prep my weight didn't spike up like mad. I think I'm only up like 4 kilograms since my like last show. So like I could have branched out and been a wee bit more adventurous, but like in that initial week or two post show, you have to be on it with everything, you know what I mean? Just so you can set like a solid baseline of right, I know I stuck to my plan and I can build on it, you know what I mean? Whereas like I think in the weeks post show, if you allow for like a bit of flexibility, that's not the time to be allowing for flexibility. It's like if you can manage them first 2 to 3 weeks like bang on, then you know then that you can like branch out and have like a wee bit more flexibility. But I lag on man spot.
Butcher go there.
Aye,
Best, one of the best brunch spots ever.
Send me the name and
really good
location of
man.
it.
The one place that I can go that I'm raging about was the place that does like load of fries, Jake or Seabam. I don't know if
Oh,
you
Fable
maybe
free.
table
yeah,
free.
I remember Jake sending
Ridiculous.
the photo. Yeah.
lad.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Truffle
literally
mayo.
a whole cow's worth of cheese on top of the fries. I was like, oh, this is mental. I walked past it and was like, nah, I'll save it for another time.
Like
It's the one TikTok famous spot that I was just like, yeah, this actually deserves the
he's
hype.
sick.
uh,
Yeah. Funny story about that though. I got my freak and sat down, and with how busy that spot is, Jake, you'll probably know. Um, People tend to sit along the canal, like just beside it. So I sat down along the canal. Of course, I fucking sat below a tree and I got shot on
Oh,
within
fuck's sake.
5 minutes. And I was wearing a white t-shirt, and it was the day we arrived by some seagull. And straight
oh
away, I
man,
just
Truffle
thought, right,
mayo, bro.
he
liquid.
didn't shit on the fries, no.
Nah, mate,
No, that's
unfortunately,
alright, lad.
unfortunately not.
This mail is a bit funny. What
Uh,
was?
I know. That would have just added to the joke. I really like that place as well, though. It's called Lauren's, the bakery.
The bakery, yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't
mate.
think it was this kind
I
of
know you
pastry
didn't think it
I
was
like.
great.
It wasn't up to par of like Laurel Vale getting an almond croissant from there, but it was solid. Like I liked their coffee. I remember liking
I
their coffee.
really liked the cookie croissant thing. Like it was just
Oh,
banging.
you were there when that was the crookie.
Yeah, the cookie, it was class. There's also a butcher. I would definitely go to this place as well. There's a cookie place called Van Stapel or Van Steeple.
Seen photos
Yes,
of that.
yeah.
Don't know if you lads went there, but it's mad. They only do one variety of cookie. Like that's
It's
all
a
you can
chocolate
get.
one.
Yeah, it's like chocolate with white chocolate inside it, and that's it. You just walk in and how many do you want? Blah de blah. But it's mad. It'd be a good one to compare to the Christmas cookies that I know you made with your mum as well. But no,
Sure,
it's
they'll be
banging.
better.
Yeah,
No offense, mom.
I'm sure the ones at home will be better.
Boys,
But
I
no,
hope you don't mind. I'm gonna go to the toilet. It'll be 2 seconds, right?
no, 100% mate, far away. Um,
I think this will be more of like a drinking holiday though, which is what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
wow.
but you want calories through food as well.
No, but if I say to the boys, "Come on, let's go get a cookie," they'll be like, "Fuck
Yeah,
off,
they'll be like,
having a
what the
pint."
fuck?
You can just nip in, mate.
Yeah, but mate, that's not. I'm not
I know.
leaving my mates and just going and
That's
getting
not on
cookies
it.
and
Yeah.
trying. Yeah, exactly.
I
As
know.
aside from the food, though, I think Amsterdam is just beautiful.
Hmm.
It is one
Yeah,
of my favorite locations I've ever been.
it's a very good spot. I have heard though, if you go out like the little towns and cities like slightly out from Amsterdam or even nicer, like a lot of people mention Delft um to be
But
like the spot. Like if you're like looking for somewhere like architecturally and like beauty wise, it's class. I actually have a lot of mates that seem to go over to Holland and they all start in Amsterdam and work their way out. But
if I was going back, I would book one of them like windmill tours, though. I'd love to see the big fuck
mm,
off windmills in
who
person.
knows?
Hmm.
Yeah.
But
But no. When is it you're away then, Matt? This week?
Um, Fly out from Dublin on Friday. So we've got like half a day Friday, full day Saturday, and then we've got the rugby match on Sunday.
Sunday.
Fly
are
back
you
Monday.
are you in the
So
dock on Thursday?
yes, unless I'm deloading.
Oh, I wonder because if you're not, I might just take that as an extra day in the deload. I don't know.
I need to chat to Tim about that because I'm supposed to be deloading. I think it's Friday to Tuesday, so I'm back in Tuesday. But
Get it.
then I rest on a Wednesday, so it's like, do I rest Wednesday, train Thursday, and then deload, or do I just take Wednesday, Thursday off as well? Two
Fucking
extra
train,
days.
train Thursday so we can get one more post workout in the run up before you go away.
Yeah.
Matt, are you still training with are you planning to train with Dolan whenever you're over in Amsterdam?
Nah, so basically, Dylan is doing like an internship. He's like a physio student.
Aye.
He's doing an internship at the minute, but the way his shift works, he usually doesn't train on a Monday as well.
Okay.
But the shift on the Monday is like 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock or something.
Oh, okay.
So it would be like either train before that or train after. So then if I was training after, I'd have to go and book another flight home, stay an extra day.
Oh, right,
But then if
okay.
I was training in the morning with him, it'd be like I'm coming off the back of a big night out after the rugby match, and I'm
Aye.
probably getting like 2 hours sleep, getting up and going to training. So
Yeah.
it just didn't really work out. And he's not in Amsterdam. He's like outside, so I'd have
Aye.
to get like a train or something for an hour.
100%, man. I was
So
messaging him whenever I was over there, and I was like, he was recommending me good gyms, and I was like, lad, I'm so sorry to say, I just literally went to a basic fit and got an upper body size, and he was like, lad, what you should, he was sending me all these like really cool gyms, and I was like, sorry, bro, we just went to the Amsterdam version of a pure gym, like
Pure Gym.
for an upper session.
Caleb
Aye.
Caleb showed me this gym. It's like all fully like Panada, and it actually looks pretty sick. To be fair, he said he went and trained, and it was actually really good. So I was going to train there, but I'm not training.
I didn't train in Amsterdam the last time I was there. The first time I was there, I'm pretty confident I went to the same place you did, Shay. And it was just like there was a number of them about the city. You know,
Yeah.
that's all you need to know.
Aye.
Um,
Basic Fit is like I think that's like the European version of Pure Gym because
mhm.
everywhere I've went on holidays I've like searched up where's the closest Basic Fit so I can
Basic
get a
fit.
session on. They're easy enough to get day passes and all for. To be fair, like I don't know about you boys. Anytime I go to a Pure Gym, I always get a good session on, boys. It's like I think it's nostalgia that you're like you land back after years of not training there and you're like, holy shit, I'm actually like one of the biggest here now. You know
I've
what I mean?
never actually trained at a pure gym.
Have you not?
Never in
I
it.
think you would freak out if you didn't see
I
Adjustable
think you would.
Resistance profiles,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
you
give it a
would
try.
Where's the Prime
definitely.
kit?
You
The
see a
fuck?
Matrix High Squad, you don't know how to work it, like.
Why can't I load this overhead press in the lengthened? What is this?
Oh, what you see
The
somebody
muscle
doing
up.
handstands in the CrossFit section.
I
See what
think
have you seen those videos where they build like the fucking cars with the barbells and plates on?
Yeah.
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 Oh, that'd be brilliant.
I honestly think it
So
would give you a different outlook, Jake. Like, I think you might walk out and be like, "Here, do you know what? I know the situation's bad in the gym at the minute, but
Yeah. Yeah.
But nah, like getting a good session in at like a different gym, I think it is like really normal because you lose the pressure of like the logbook and you just
yeah,
sort
oh,
of enjoy lifting.
100%, man. I whenever I was last over in England, I for just for time constraints because I had to get a train the next morning. I trained in Sheffield Pure Gym, which is like I literally was on Rotherham and there's Ultraflex Rotherham like right beside me, and I was like, no, the Pure Gym's closer to the train station. I'm going to train in Pure Sheffield Pure Gym, and I actually end up getting an unreal session on. It's just like as you say, there's no pressure in the logbook. All you just go on and like just try and bury yourself as much as possible, like.
yeah,
I think I had a three, yeah, it was about 3.5 hour session, upper session in Flex and Tone in Manchester. And I must have done about 15, 20 exercises. Just did like 2 sets on everything, just jumping from like old school machine to old school machine. It was so
What's
much
the
Oh
fun.
kit
man,
like
class.
there in Flaxington? Is it
What's it
old
like?
school? Is it prime? Is it
No, it's all old school. Mate, half the kit I'd never even heard of, but it's like it's all like the old school like Nautilus kind of stuff, where it's like
I,
Yeah.
chains and everything. There's a load of kit like that, and it's honestly it's better than Prime. I'm not even joking.
doesn't have three pegs to load it on like a
Don't
prime?
need your pegs, mate. Just
If it
plan
doesn't,
your machines
if it
accordingly.
doesn't drop off in the short, Jake's not interested. Like,
Just don't care. There's no hypertrophy potential there, guys.
Better my muscle connection when you can have
Challenge the
something
short and
heavy in
range.
the short. Yeah. Mhm.
Pump doesn't grow
serious.
muscle, bro. I'm saying
um,
that, but I'd love to get a bit of a pump in these full body sessions. I'm going into the posing room and like I just look naff after training for 2.5 hours. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck's sake, I wouldn't mind a push day at this stage.
Oh lad, I noticed that in prep especially. Hey, it was like at the end of like a push session because obviously like my push sessions had like more volume than anything else because I literally don't have a chest. So like at the end of my push sessions, I was like as flat as I started the session, so I would have to do another. I would have to do another set of pec flies and a set of lateral raises to even get a pump to pose outside, and then it's also freezing outside, and I'm like taking check-in photos.
As you've just lost it as soon as you step
like
outdoors.
that's all.
Oh lad, aye.
Um, there was the only other thing I had down as well. Shay, did you wrap up uni and graduate when you were on prep?
Yeah. When was it? That was it was after Paris. I think it was. I think I graduated like maybe when I was 6 weeks out, maybe. Um, but that was
Were you
good crack.
actually
Like
still studying whenever you started prep, or were you like pretty much done, like assignments done and everything?
basically still studying. I had one. I think I had one more set of like assignments and exams to do, but they weren't really like we didn't have a dissertation to do
Uh,
in my course, which was like you know yourself that it's if you the dissertation's the thing you worry about the most. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I had like I had like a good few friends stressing out about dissertations, and I was like, boys, this is handy. Like all I have to do is a few exams and like maybe an essay or something like that. But no, that was uni was actually pretty handy towards like the back end of prep. I think prep puts you in that much that good of like a time management state that you're like right. I can devote time to studying and time to um training and stuff. You know what I mean? And especially
hmm
because I didn't live in Belfast for the final year of uni. I just travelled up and down. So I sort of got a gauge in the first few weeks of uni, like what lectures were like important and the ones that I sort of had to go to. Like boys, I remember going to lectures. Like I remember getting up at like 6 o'clock to go up the road to Belfast for a 3 hour lecture, stay half an hour, and then convince myself to go because I have to train legs. It was
yeah.
funny.
Literally exactly the same. Like, mate, I got like called into the head of faculty's office in McGee at Ulster in Derry because in second year I decided I was going to drive it up every day rather
Uh,
than stay.
Yeah.
And I quickly decided that training was a lot more important than some pointless lectures when you can do them from home on
Oh, nah.
fucking Blackboard, which is their equivalent to Canvas. So
100%, man.
yeah, but no,
It's when
that
all the
that
lecture notes are made available after, the way
Yeah.
they put up the material,
yeah,
that you're like, lad, I would, like, instead of listening to some boy talk about this, I could just, bang out a upper session and then go home and learn it myself.
yeah, literally. That was why I was asking the question though, was yeah, I was thinking about me doing my dissertation and how a couple of days deep I initially had the thought process of, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to drop out a couple of sessions here to get this done, or
Yeah.
trying to manage training with this and all that. So no, that's good to hear.
Did you ever have to, like, sacrifice training during during whenever you were doing your dissertation, or did that part of your brain take over? We were like, right, no, I much prefer training than writing a dissertation.
Yeah, I think don't get me wrong, like I definitely wasn't as sort of down the bodybuilding rabbit hole as I am now. Like I
Yeah.
probably was having 2 or 3 meals a day. Like I wasn't
Uh,
giving a fuck about, nutrient timing or all of that. And I was probably only on 180 grams of protein because I was still following the 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight theory
yeah.
back in those days. But I still made sure I got my training in. But I just
Uh,
viewed it as like the 2 hours of freedom that I had outside of staying up to like 2 in the morning writing the thing. And then,
yeah.
you know. But no, that's good, mate. That
Touching
probably
on
worked
that,
out quite
man,
well.
just to divulge, do you think there's much merit to that? Because obviously I've been going back and forth with this in my head that it's like during this season I wasn't the most on it bodybuilder, like self-admittedly, like compared to other people. I wasn't 100% about meal timings. I wasn't like 100% about say for instance, if I like ran out of cream or rice, I wouldn't stress my head about the word like, oh, I have to sub on oats or rice. You know what I mean? I would just like do it, and then even like bringing food on show day, I would literally like bring a few sleeves of Snaggy Jacks and a bit of whey and a bit of salt, and I'd be like, right, let's go. You know what I mean? Whereas there would be other people like I'm not saying over analyzing, but like paying attention to like the very, very tiny 1%. And there's a part of me in the back of my head after the season that's like it's almost it's almost counterproductive in a sense to stress out about the 1% when it's like if you spend time not stressing about the 1%, then uh, that'll just make up for itself anyway.
Yeah. Funny, I had to. There was one time, Matt, you'll probably remember this. I actually ran a bag of cream of rice to the dock for a guy who was on prep because I was the only guy that he knew that had the same brand of cream of rice, and he was stressing out that he didn't have the same flavor, same brand, and he was on prep. And he told me he would get me back for it, and he didn't. But anyway,
And he
Oh,
didn't
um,
even get on stage.
and then he didn't get on sstage,
He pulled
yeah.
out
But
of it.
anyway,
oh, what? That's even worse.
so
What flavor
Believe,
was it
and
though?
nobody's heard of him since.
it was complete strength, caramelized biscuit. The Biscoff
I
one
got
is
one
good, to
right.
be fair.
It is good.
Um, yeah, I would agree. I'm sure Jake, you'll have a take on this question,
I want to
100%.
hear Jake's take on
But
this. To be fair,
I
I
do
would agree.
agree.
I
I
would
do
agree.
agree. This is my thing. I do agree, but at the same time, you probably shouldn't be starting to fucking have homemade burgers 2 weeks out and introducing things like that.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
100%, man.
I definitely agree with you. But Jake, no, go ahead.
My take is what Shea said. He's in the right category, I think. It's if you can get away with it, like what am I trying to say? It's the stress factor of not stressing over the little things is definitely so beneficial for the physique. And like you see that in your results, Shea. Like you weren't stressing. Look how well your season went. AJ has said in podcasts when he was staying with Ben Hard, was it for the WNBF Worlds? AJ was peaking him and he was like, he asked Ben, like, how much salt and water have you had today? And Ben was just like, I don't know. And
You
look at
had a
Ben
Huel?
Hard. Yeah, so it's like you shouldn't stress over these things, but I'll say that. But then I'll also counteract myself and say I wouldn't be able to do it. With certain things, I just have to be too on the money, and it's probably to my own detriment. So if I could get away with a little bit of more of a stress-free approach, I think it would be productive, but it's just a mental thing.
And saying that though, Jake, to your credit, I think because you don't stress out about like so the 1% just come naturally to you. You know what I mean? So
That's another
it,
thing. Yeah,
it's on your day to day to be on it with everything that like it doesn't affect you if you like analyze the 1% that I wouldn't maybe
yeah,
analyze. You know what I mean? So
It
like
just comes like second nature to you.
exactly, I think things that come second nature in your life like that there it's not counterproductive, you know what I mean? So like Jake, because you're so on it with everything, it's like it's grand for you to be like by the book, you know what I mean?
yeah. It's just that. So that is a good point. It's changing from or deviating from the standard way
Aye, exactly.
Yeah.
that you approach things. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I do think the sort of something you've mentioned a couple of times there, Shay, like managing stress, I think is a big thing
Yeah.
with shows, and I think it does really impact your look. I think as well that's why I would be such a fan. Yeah, I've done it myself, but I would be such a fan of doing things like pulling out cardio and all that, like well in advance of
Yeah.
shows if you can. And as well, like something I actually have done this week, just yesterday, I've booked off my entire peak week from work, things like that, which can
That's a
just
great
make a
idea.
massive, massive difference as well if you're,
Ah,
um,
exactly, man. Because even if you don't work like a strenuous job, like having them few days off just to chill and like obviously peak weeks are a bit different where you have to like get your meals in, send over check-in photos, send over weight to your coach and stuff. It's just so much hand there if you can be like, right, I have to eat a meal, send a check-in and then just chill, you know what I mean? Get my steps in without worrying about like work and stuff.
yeah,
That's actually a good point. So during my UK FBA peak week, um, I was getting up at like so I was still working doing the rugby coaching in the gym in the mornings. So I had to leave the house by 7:15. I was getting up at like 5:30, going on a walk. We're taking my checking pictures, sending them to Finn, checking in, going on a walk. And then I was literally waiting for him to tell me what my food was for that day because I needed to make everything. So I was waiting, I was like stressing out, waiting for him to get back to me.
Aye,
And then he would get back to me at like 7:15. I'd have half an hour to get all my food ready for that day.
yeah,
So that was the peak week, and that was stressing the fuck out. Or it was stressing me out like mad. The easiest we talked about, or I talked about this with him. The easiest thing would have just been to have like a standard baseline meal plan, and then if he wants me to add more food, just add a couple of rice cakes here, add
yeah.
that, take away this, and that would have saved all the stress. But instead, I was putting myself through all the stress just because I wanted to make sure I had my cream of rice made. That was exactly 130 grams, and it was ready for me, perfect post workout and stuff.
Aye.
So
That's what I done for
yeah,
like my I think it was last two peak weeks for like British finals and the MBW show. I just like because I was working as well and I had already taken all my days off at the start of the season because I didn't think my season was going to go on as long as it did. So I like I just made my baseline food for the day and then whenever fun got back to me with any changes, I would just run to the shop and get like I don't know like a packet of Snagger Jacks and add on carbs to whatever
mm,
meal I needed and stuff. So it's just it's basically just taking the stress out of it, isn't it, man? Because like you don't want to be sitting in the office being like, oh, I have to go home now and like cream of rice. I have to run home, me break and do this. Like you just chill out, lad. A little workout, like.
exactly.
100%. Um, we've been running for an hour and a half. We'll leave it there. Do you guys have anything else for Shay or any other questions or?
I'm all
When are you coming to Belfast so we can have a night out?
Lad, we'll have to organise one. Hey, we actually will have to organise one. To be fair,
Yeah.
I had a drink in New Year's there, and it was the first drink I had since like 12 pubs last year. I'm literally still getting over the hangover. It was crazy. It was mad. Did you boys do anything in New Year's?
we do fuck all.
We're
Uh,
Nothing.
bodybuilders, mate. We don't do anything.
nice one, lad. Nice
Just
one.
boring, mate. Just
Same. I was one of them, like, but uh,
I'm out of prep. It's fine. It is the
yeah.
off season.
In the off season now, I totally switch off.
oh well,
Um,
Belfast, lad. I'll have to get up soon enough, so we can. I'll have
We'll
to get
get
a
you
training
down to the
session on it.
dock. We'll get you down to the dock. We'll have a session and we'll go out, have a nice meal.
Go to
Nice
Ginza.
one.
go to Ginza, of course.
Games, right enough.
I
Have
haven't
another round.
really touched on it, but Jake, you were a big fan.
Fuck, I loved it. I'm counting down the days till I can go back.
Let's
Just
go.
glad. I've never been so nervous going into a restaurant to hear what the verdict was going to be like, but I was just glad to see that both of the boys enjoyed it
All three, he's
and
lad
went
Probably,
down
loving
very well.
it.
probably seen
Reception's
the
like,
brand.
oh, that's a guy that rang us and asked for the menu.
Fuck's sake. This guy was asking about the boat.
Do you
The
know
bit.
him? He actually, yeah.
This is a guy that was asking how much salt was in the dragon roll.
Fuck's sake.
Class. Good stuff. Right. Well, we'll wrap it up there then. Shay, thanks very much for coming on, mate. Really, really
Thank you,
appreciate
boys.
it.
It's a pleasure.
And obviously, yeah, I'm sure it'll not be the last time, mate. And as well, good luck with the new venture. This will obviously be going up. Everything will be live by the time this podcast goes up. But
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
very excited to keep tabs on that as well. And I'm sure, like you say, everything will go very, very well.
Happy days,
Um,
boys.
but yes, the last thing I just wanted to do, just give you a bit of a chance to plug your socials. Do you want to let people know where they can find you?
No bars. So my Instagram will be Shea_McCaul 3, and then if you want to apply for posing coaching, there'll be a link on my bio for that. Or you can go on the Kaizen Posing on Instagram. And choose any of the coaches. Go with me. I'm the best crack, boys. Other than that, boys, thank you very much for having me on. I really, really, really appreciate it. Godspeed.
Cheers. Good stuff. Matt, Jake, anything else from you? Happy enough?
When
All
can we
good.
go back to Ginza?
We'll go
We're going,
certainly
no,
before prep,
but
but
yeah, but we're going for the next off plan is going to be an Indian.
yeah.
Or Orto? Shay, do you want a pizza or an Indian or
Boys, let me know about Orto for real.
We'll
they're
see
really
if we can squeeze. I think we can squeeze all these in.
Surely,
Probably before April.
Yeah.
just up
Before
the
April,
fans.
certainly.
Pull cards at your final meet. It'll be grand.
Pulled
100%.
out 15 dark chocolates, so I'm gonna go for a tikka masala here.
Well, it's a dilemma, I suppose, for another day. But no, guys, thank you very much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed, and as always, we appreciate all of the likes, shares, subscriptions on YouTube. Really, really appreciate it, and all the support on the podcast. And obviously, yeah, we will catch you on the next one. All right, cheers.